Wait, chase.
Dude is not good. He is not okay.
Lasers.
That's fine. I can.
Well,
Dumbass.
step on the... I guess I didn't have to tell him.
I remember the early childhood experience of playing the Wii Christmas time. I was playing with my cousin on Mario Kart Wii. He was infinitely better than me. And every time I'm down, every time I come close to breaking down, I always think about the good days. Now, it was not just Mario Kart Wii. It was always Animal Crossing 2. It was always Fortnite. It was Black Ops. It was all those games I played as a kid. Now, why do video games have such an impression on me? Well, it's not just me. It's everybody on the planet that has played it. There are 3.3 billion people on the planet that have played a video game in their life. And there's probably more undocumented because everyone has touched Minecraft or Mario, whatever you want to call it. But video games are the most perfect pieces of art modern history has seen. You can call it the perfect art form because it's so interactive, it's fun, it's entertaining and all that. But what makes a video game so perfect in this case? Not only do video games provide entertainment, they can also affect people cognitively. They can also affect people by the way it's created, such as world building and such as choices you make in a video game, right? And with every good thing, there always comes with toxicity, negativity, and addiction. And I will also be touching down on that as well. So without further ado, let's talk about how video games impact people on a deeper scale. Now, when video games impact people on a deeper level, a lot of things that come up to mind are how does it affect their way of thinking, their way of life, or their morals, or where they stand after a decision. A lot of the Telltale games are especially good at this, right? One of the best choices in the game, where you are presented with the choice of killing Lee and refusing to let him turn, or leaving him handcuffed because you can't bring yourself to kill the person that took care of you this entire time during the zombie apocalypse. It is a very gut-wrenching thing. And fun fact, the voice actor of Lee actually cried when he did this, and you can hear it towards the end of the credits as soon as the game turns off. Seeing something so tragic as a kid, although it was a video game, left a very important mark in my development. Now the question is, what is the science behind this, right? Well, a study done by the University of Vermont performed a study that showed the regions in the brain associated with attention and memory were shown to be higher on those children. So when it comes to development, video games accelerate the process of developing more cognitive demanding tasks in children, especially if it questions the children's standpoint on whether or not this is the right decision they need to do, much like deciding Lee's fate. And this doesn't just apply to children too. There are a lot of adults that you can watch reacted to his death in the same way, with sadness and grief, because it's not much of a children versus adult thing. It's more of a morals thing. It's more of a humanity thing. And the fact that video games can teach us these types of humanities while we play through them shows how we get so invested into the character and the world around them that once we lose it, it's like losing a part of ourselves. Which brings me to my next topic on how the video game itself and its aesthetics, environment, art, world building, and characters, how all of that combines together to truly sell the cognitive impact and to keep the player engaged to further build that connection. One of my favorite game series of all time is the Yakuza franchise. Now, let me tell you something. The moves in this game are incredible. The atmosphere, the gameplay, the characters, they are all so fun to play as. We're going to start with Yakuza 0. World building in that game is phenomenal. It gets you entranced. It gets you like, oh wow, like the entire game takes place in two cities, Kamurocho and Sotenbori. And it is no debate that Kamurocho is the one that pops up in every game and is the most frequent actually. It is a map that keeps coming back on every other game. So you get to revisit these maps and you're like, oh, I know where this place is. It's kind of like it's kind of like driving around Los Santos all the time, just knowing your way around. Except this time, this map is in every single game, but it still feels fresh, right? And when it comes to video games, when you make something so fresh yet repetitive, when you make something so repetitive yet fresh, that is an accomplishment. Not a lot of people can pull off reusing assets or reusing the same mechanics of a video game. And the fact that you feel this repetitive motion, it makes you feel like you're at home with the game. You're one with the game. You're playing as a character and you immerse yourself so into it. So when any climax happens, when anything good or bad happens, you feel it in your soul because you have experienced that. With all due respect on the topic, good things come to an end, right? A lot of people that play video games eventually end up developing an addiction or becoming the most vile, miserable, toxic, poisonous person you will ever come across in your career of playing a video game. And not only do I speak for myself when I say we don't like those people and that they're inevitable, but research agrees with me. And research has to agree with me on this. A statistic from Radboud University stated that about 8% of US youth who play video games exhibit pathological symptoms of addiction, which could underlie damage to family, school, or psychological functioning. And the reality is that many children in the United States, probably around the globe, develop an addiction from playing too much, usually as a result from depression due to schoolwork and overload from outside and internal factors. And these negative feelings from childhood can continue on to adulthood that makes the person so toxic and so miserable they lash out at other people and blame bad things that happen in life or bad things that happen in a video game match to the people around them. And it just makes the entire environment so toxic and unable to cooperate. And I've had my fair share of toxic people, and I'm pretty sure everyone watching this has had their fair share of people that are so miserable and toxic. They spread it onto others, and then especially in friend groups where it can cause havoc if it's left untreated. And this really can all stem not just from video game addiction, but from the mental health and depression that comes from constantly playing a video game as a coping mechanism for outlying factors or internal factors in life that a lot of people put blame on the video games when in actuality it's the stressors that are put on the child and adult when they're developing. And so it's not necessarily a video game's fault. More so, it's actually video games actually suppress these negative emotions, which isn't good. But video games are there to help cope with some negative thoughts, especially if you're playing a video game. Like I said, Yakuza is one of my favorite games. That helped me through a dark time. It can be used as a positive tool to help fight negative emotions. Now, the best way to avoid video game addiction and best way to avoid being miserable when it comes to keeping in those negative emotions from outside stressors and solely relying on video games to cope with your negative emotion is really just managing time and being patient with oneself. And that can go a long way with not just video games, but that can go a long way with anything in life. If you allow yourself to just take a breath, live in the present, and to realize that it's just a game at the end of the day. It really is just a game at the end of the day. If you are getting stressed at the game and you are ranting or getting mad at the game and taking it out on other people that don't have anything to do with the game, that is a sign that there is a problem. It should be addressed. And the first step is to just get off the game for the night and realize tomorrow is a better day. In conclusion, video games are the perfect art form due to how they impact perspective, how they work upon creating that impact using the story and the world around them. But not only are video games one of the best pieces of art, they can also be the cause of addiction and fuel the fire of toxicity. I went through a couple of examples mainly the Yakuza series. And if you haven't paid attention, the Marvel Rivals gameplay in the background, which as you can see, I'm like one of the best players in the world. But it's not really about who's better and who's worse at a video game. As long as people are having fun and coping with their negative emotions in a positive way, video games can be used as a tool for positive reinforcement. And this just proves how video games are the perfect art form. Because not a lot of pieces of art are very interactive as much as video games. You could say the same about a movie, you could say the same about a painting, but in no regards will you ever be as interactive as you would in a video game. Sometimes after a long day, we just need to pick up the controller, hop on the computer, and just let our minds be free of the worries we have today. Thank you all so much for watching, and have a lovely day.